Living room conversation.
If you're live in a room, isn't it a living room? Howdy everyone, I'm Joshua Fields Milburn from the Minimalists. Welcome back to Living Room Conversations. We're in my living room here in Los Angeles. I'm with my good friend Sean Mahalik. I've known Sean for a while. He's a talented author, a novelist, a poet, also the managing editor at Paleo Magazine. And you wear many hats, but a very talented writer as well. But I know you've gone through some social media changes over the back and forth over the last year or 2 years. And I wanted to read this question to you from Kira. Kira asks, I have recently deleted all of my social media accounts, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, because I no longer find value in using any of them. All of my friends still heavily use social media, and I get asked frequently when meeting people my age for my Instagram or my Snapchat handle, not my phone number. How does a 20-year-old find ways to interact and keep up with friends without falling back into the social media lifestyle? Now for me, the word that stood out most here was lifestyle. Social media lifestyle. I think that's when social media becomes a problem, when it's a lifestyle. Now, I know you and I had a conversation a few years back after you read Deep Work from Cal Newport.
One of my favorite books still.
And I think it changed your mind on how you were using social media. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so as a writer, I need to work for long periods of time on difficult things.
Uh-huh.
And
really, don't all of us need that? I mean, carpenters need that, bricklayers need to do that as well, right?
I think Cal calls that the craftsman mindset versus the any benefit mindset.
Uh-huh.
So you use a tool because you get a very specific value out of it, not because you get some sort of value out of it.
Right, because you can justify anything. You can say, you know what, I get some sort of value from, storing Ella's baby teeth or something.
Yeah.
I don't get any. I wouldn't actually get value from that.
Like if you didn't.
No offense to people who store baby teeth, but it's a little weird.
Like if you didn't have her baby teeth, would you be sitting there wishing I really had her baby teeth? Is that some hole that you would need to fill otherwise in your life? Probably not. You're not gonna, if you're sitting around wishing you had baby teeth,
right?
That's a little weird. But if you have those baby teeth and you're like, wow, I get some value out of those baby teeth, that's the difference there. Is that it's not value you would otherwise be searching out.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing with social media, but it is so ubiquitous now, right? That virtually everyone has it, especially someone who's her age. You're in your 20s. You realize there was a period where you walked away from social media altogether, and you've recently brought it back into your life. But in the word you used to describe it recently was what?
It's oxymoronic, but I am so fucking ambivalent. I am passionately ambivalent about social media.
I mean, I think that's a good place to be, but for someone like me, I don't have any of the apps on my phone because I am not ambivalent to it. I get addicted to it very easily, and I can find an excuse to hop on Twitter or Instagram very easily, and it will interrupt whatever work that I'm trying to do, whatever I'm trying to create. It is not part of the creation. It should augment a creation. So for me, that's how I use social media now. But for someone who says, and by the way, bravo for deciding to completely get rid of all your social media accounts because you recognize you're not getting the value from that. That's amazing. Now, when she goes to someone, they don't ask her for a phone number. I can tell you what I do quite often, because people still ask me, like, well, what's your Twitter or what's your Instagram? If it's someone I want to interact with, I'll often instead of saying I don't have that, I'll say, you know what, a much better way to contact me is on email, or here's my phone number, right? Because if I'm saying that, I'm giving them the alternative. I'm not saying no. I'm saying here's what I'm saying yes to, because it might get lost in the shuffle if you send me something on social media. Now you don't want to have to say that because you don't have any social media accounts. You can just say, you know what, it's much easier to contact me. Here's my phone number.
Yeah. Our friend Patrick Rohn always says saying no is saying yes to other things.
Yeah.
So maybe by adopting that strategy, maybe you're going to miss out on some things. But that's okay, because then the things that you aren't going, you're shifting your focus toward deeper connections.
Yeah, as opposed to you're missing out on the sort of these facade and the ephemera of of that facade, as opposed to trying to get deeper, whether it's deeper with the people you're connecting with or deeper with the work you're trying to connect with as well. I mean, as creators, when I'm creating something, the worst thing I can do is interrupt it, because it takes about 22 minutes to get into what they call a flow state, a creative state. And if you were at the 25-minute mark, say, well, I'm just going to take a quick Twitter break. Well, you've actually only done 3 minutes of effective, meaningful work, and then it's going to take you 20 more minutes to get back into that state. And so social media can be quite the burden if you're using it that way. However, that's not to say you can't use social media effectively. You can. The question is, what is appropriate for you? And right now for Kira, it sounds like social media is not appropriate. I want to applaud you for that. Give people an alternative way to contact you that isn't on, an app on their phone.
And I would say this whole thing isn't just to demonize social media, because Kira says she wasn't finding any value in it. But then now she has this dilemma. How does she keep in touch with these people? So maybe you don't have social media for the next 3 months, the next 6 months, and maybe when that time has passed, you're still missing some of those connections. So maybe you were getting a little value from it that you didn't realize. Yeah. And the question is, all right, how do I get just that value? Maybe it's bringing back just Snapchat or just Instagram, not keeping them on your phone, checking them once a day. But maybe not. Maybe you're good without it. But it goes back to that craftsman versus any benefit mindset.
Yeah, I think it's understanding what those benefits are going to be for you and being willing to adjust accordingly. All right, y'all, that's it for this week's Living Room Conversation. If you want to check out Sean Mihalik, he's a very talented author, go to SeanMihalik.com. We'll put a link in the show description. And if you have a question for Living Room Conversations, leave it below in somewhere, their comments down here. Is that right, Jordan? Down here somewhere. Anyway, if you can subscribe somewhere as well if you want to get future answers. We'll see you next time.
The Minimalists.